apple strudel. It's fall, apples are in season. You can pretty much find apples year round, but lots more out here in the fall. And we're using Filo dough to make it easy. So stay tuned as I dice up the apples and make apple strudel. Well, I've already started, as you can see, peeling, dicing, coring the apples. I'm just going to show you on one apple. Basically, I just core it. Not nearly necessary. You can just cut this out without coring it. But I have this device. I just think it's kind of easy. Then I just take my peeler and peel off most of the skin. Leave a little bit on, doesn't hurt it. Very little. And I take my cleaver, cut it in half. Then I just kind of cut it into kind of even slices. Then I cube it up, trying to keep the cubes kind of close to uniform as I can, so they cook about the same time frame. And that one's not. Then I just take my cleaver and scrape them up and put them in my bowl. And I will repeat these with the last two apples. Okay, we've got all the apples diced up here. We're now going to zest the lemon. I got a lemon zester here. Just take off some of the zest. We just need a little bit of zest, about a half a teaspoon, probably about a half of this lemon. I'm gonna get some zest off. Not the best lemon in the world, but I'm getting a good amount of zest here. Okay, get this apple seed out of the way that I left there. Okay, there's some good zest. Just gonna chop it up a little bit. Get it kind of fine. I'm gonna put that zest in there. And then I'm gonna cut this lemon in half. I'm gonna put about a half of a lemon in there. It calls for a teaspoonful. I won't squeeze it real hard. It's a pretty juicy lemon. Okay. And we're gonna put in about 3 to 4 tablespoons of, I'm using light brown sugar. You can use white sugar in this, or light brown sugar. Since I used a mixture of 2 kinds of apples, a sweeter apple and a Granny Smith apple. Granny Smiths are a little tart, so I want to put a little bit, maybe 3.5 tablespoons of sugar in there. And we're going to put in about, not a whole lot, just about a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger. So I'm just opening this up, finding my 1/4, and there's a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. So not overpowering with cinnamon or the ginger either. And there's a 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. And we want to put a little bit of salt in here as well. I'm just using some pink Himalayan sea salt. You can use any sea salt you want. I'm putting 1/8 of a teaspoon of that in there. So that will do it. I'm just going to toss all that together, and that'll be our filling. Okay, I've now stirred everything together and I've tightly covered it with saran wrap so I don't have any lid that fits this Pyrex bowl. I'm gonna put this in the microwave for 2 minutes on high and microwave it and let it sit for 5 minutes covered and then take the cover off. And then I'm gonna drain the juice. So now I'm just getting prepared to put it into my microwave. Okay, we've finished the 2 minutes of cook and 5 minutes of rest. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna drain these. It's not gonna be a lot of liquid, maybe a little liquid. And the way we're gonna do this, we just got a, well, doing this with one hand is not gonna be so easy. Okay. I am running out of room. I should have got a bigger bowl, but here. I'm gonna make it work. Hold the apples in as I drain. And we did pretty good there. I'll see if I did pretty good. I think we did pretty good. I'll just get the last remaining out. There we go. Oops, lost one apple. We'll pick her up. That'll be my treat. Now I'm doing, now that I've got them drained, I'm going to add some golden raisins, about 3 tablespoons probably of golden raisins to this. You can use regular raisins, I just prefer the golden. Or you can just omit the raisins, it's up to you. This is not just something my wife wanted. I'm adding some walnuts as well. These have already been chopped. So just adding some chopped walnuts to it. And I need to add, and this is kind of the crazy thing, 1½ tablespoons of Panko breadcrumbs. This just kind of dries up any of the liquid that's left in there. You won't really taste it. So just kind of adding that in there. And now I'm just stirring everything together and incorporating everything together. Raisins, nuts, and the breadcrumbs. And this will be our filling for our strudel. We want to preheat our oven to 375, but I'll be showing the assembly stage in the dough in just a few moments. Okay, now we're starting the more complicated process, the assembly. I've got a piece of parchment paper down here on my board. Here's the Filo dough. It's covered with a damp towel with some plastic wrap over that. And this stuff can be awfully thin and it can break very easily, and that's what just happened to me. But it's okay, not the end of the world if it breaks. Just get the rest of your dough. It will we'll just overlap it. We'll put it back together. It's really paper, it's more than paper thin. So what you want to do is I melted some butter here, about 6 to 7 tablespoons. You'll just want to lightly butter this whole thing on top of the parchment paper. And I'm going a little more than lightly here. That's okay. And we're just going to stop as I grab something that I was supposed to get, which I didn't get. Here it is, powdered sugar. And I'm going to need my sift again. I'm going to need my sifter. It dried out a little bit. I washed it already. Okay, here it is. And what we want to do is we just want to lightly dust this with a really fine dusting. Just like a light snowing over top of it. And we're going to do that. Basically, I'm going to repeat that and do 7 layers. From what I've read and heard, any more layers, like 10 or 12, it starts getting tough. So when I get to 7, I'll show you the next process. Okay, I've got my 7 layers. None of them tore up after the first one. Well, one got a little tear in it, a micro tear. But as long as you overlap them and don't put tears together, you're fine. And also, I want to tell you another cheat. The butter was going a little faster than I wanted to, so I used some butter spray. Not really original recipe, but it will work. So now what we want to do is we want to lay out the apples about 2 inches from the side and 2 inches from the bottom. So I'm eyeballing. It's probably better to use a ruler for this, in all honesty, but I'm just eyeballing it for now. So I think we got about 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our parchment paper and we're going to fold up very carefully, and we're going to fold over. Just got to get this to stick as best we can. We'll do the same with the other side. I may have put too much apples in here. That's okay. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to push a little bit of these apples back, and we're going to use our pastry brush, and we're going to use some of the apple juices to kind of be the glue this time, kind of get it to stick together. All right. So now we're coming up over, and like I said, I may have overstuffed this thing a little bit. I may have to take a few apples out. It does have to seal, and I overstuffed it. So I'm taking a little out. Just put too many apples in there. All right, that's fine. We'll make it a little smaller. And now we're getting there. It's gonna be kind of like a burrito. Okay, I get it all sealed, and then I'm just going to repeat this process one more time. I'm going to be making 2 of them. I probably got enough to make 3, but we'll see. I may not have enough dough, so I'll continue. Okay, we just came out of the oven. You see it's golden brown. I didn't make the most uniform, prettiest ones, but they're going to taste great. After 30 minutes of cooling, we'll dust them with powdered sugar. I've got enough for a 3rd one. It was only 6 layers, but I think that's going to work. I'm going to put it in the oven now, and we'll be enjoying apple strudel later. Well, here's the apple strudels dusted up with the powdered sugar, ready to enjoy later. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be delicious.